Hi, everyone, and welcome back to 5 Minute Family Search. So here we are again on the mortalityschedules.com. And in the last video, we went through this gray box and we typed in a last name and searched on Ancestry. What I would like to do now is come down and let's just go through a state. So as I've said in other videos, my family is from Kansas, Ohio, West Virginia, Tennessee, that area. But currently my parents live in South Carolina. And so I'd like to go into South Carolina to show you some of these slave records that you can access that way. A lot of history in South Carolina. And so let's come down and I'm just going to go ahead and click on South Carolina. Now, when I do, it's going to pull up alphabetical order. So even though I said South Carolina, it's just going to take me to that general page. So I actually, now my family lives in Sumter County. So I did go in and look at those. Very interesting. Like I said, my family is not going to have records there because they moved down there when I was a little girl. But I would like to show you in York County some information. So let's come down to York County, South Carolina, and I'm going to click on this 1850 mortality schedule. Now, when I do, it brings me up to this page and it says 1850 York County, South Carolina mortality schedule. The schedule lists persons who died during the year that ended of June 1st, 1850. So, a lot of people on this page. Let's start at the top. It gives us the name, their age, their sex, their color, whether they were free or slaves, if they were married, their birthplace, the month they died, their occupation, the cause of death, and the number of days that they were ill. Now, this does make it a little bit harder in the fact that it just has first names. Most of these were slaves, and so their last names were not recorded. Um, what I would like to show you here is like Albert, it says 4/12. So that tells us he was 4 months old. And he died of inflammation. He was sick for 10 days. He died in July in South Carolina and he was a slave. So this is very, very important if you are looking for African American descent. Like I said, it is going to be hard because there are only first names listed in this one. Some of them I have seen last names, but in this actual one in York, you are just getting the first name listed. Now let's go back and let's look in Sumter County. That is, like I said, where my family is right now. There is not an 1850, but there is an 1870 and an 1880. So let's go ahead and click on 1870. Now this one, they're all going to look different because they are all done by counties individually, so there is not really a general form that they filled out. So here we can look through and we can see several people that are listed here. They did have last names, they were not slaves. This says the first one, William Rogers. He was 60. He was male. He was married. He was born in Connecticut, and the years he was a merchant and he died of paralysis. Very interesting to go through and to see how these people passed away. We have dysentery, dropsy, ovarian tumor, cancer on the neck. Susan Chandler, she passed away during childbirth. So again, if you know the area that your family is concentrated in, if you know that they lived in Sumter County, South Carolina, or York County, and you had slaves in your family, there are very good chances that you will have people on these mortality schedules. Let's just look at one more in Sumter County. Let's look at that 1880. And here we have more. So like I said, if my family hadn't gone down when I was a little girl to Sumter County, South Carolina, this would be a very good place for me to come and just look in there quickly, make sure that there are no Mortons or any other name that I have listed in my tree that is in this county. But again, like I have said, these mortality schedules are very important because a lot of these people were not recorded anywhere else, especially if they were slaves. And many of them don't have headstones. So if we miss them on these mortality schedules, we could possibly miss putting them into our family tree.